All right, welcome to my FX Buddies, the podcast. And I say podcast because there are multiple mediums on which you can interact with this content. All right, let's see. I first want to say it's the last day of the month. It's the last day where all things are possible. August. But we can still go forward, right? Believing that. And there were some awesome things happen for some people um, that, yeah, because they were believing and just changing their mindset, some things opened up for them and they were able to monopolize, capitalize, uh, what else? Materialize. But anyway, so yes. All right. And um someone else told me about suddenly in September. So that's what we're going with. I mean, we could still do, what did I say? Spectacular. And someone else said another good word, but I like suddenly. And I think Kim Clement had said something like that, right? But anyway, yeah, so that's what September is going to be, suddenly in September. All right, so if you're new, forgive me. But I don't normally start off that way, so don't don't leave. All right, but I do have to say, um, wherever you are looking, so the best place to follow along, read, if you want to read with the articles, that's my phone. Um, is myfxbuddies.blogspot.com, but that's kind of long to type in or remember. So just look for a prompt of open, intro, info, description, something of that nature. More, right? More is the one on YouTube. If you're on a cell phone, you have to hit more twice. I was playing on actually, the internet was down just for a little bit. So I had to maneuver some things on the phone. And yeah, I don't know why it does that, but you do. So yeah. So then you'll be on this, which is the blog, the free blog. You don't have to put your email address in, and I'm not selling you anything. And then all the articles are here. Nothing fun. It's another good day. All positive stuff. Boring as all get out, except this is interesting if you can see the title there. But yeah, so we'll get into it. All right. And I want to say thank you. Thank you for birthday wishes, and gifts are already coming in. And if it is September 1st, because I'm actually doing this a little early, it should make it for August 31st. Happy birthday to all my birthday buddies. So I have my FX buddies and birthday buddies. There's a lot of birthdays this first week of September, and then later in September also. So I guess January must be cold weather. December, January, then come around September, all these babies are born. Anyway, all right, so let's get into it. Okay, so banking deposits drop, Forex trading grows in Iraq. All right, so, and we had articles earlier in the week, right, about the banking deposits decreasing, and they're trying to figure out why, right? So now this is just another, it says today, here he is, same guy, well, one of the same guys, right? On Sunday, uh, I don't know how to say his, Manar, maybe? Manar Obeidi said on Sunday that the Iraqi financial market is experiencing a sharp contraction. Now, but this is the stock market, the actual ISX, the actual stock market. Due to investor withdrawals and a decline in banking sector deposits, according to data for the first half of 2025. But I'm wondering, just like here in America, September has typically been the worst month for the stock market. So I'm wondering if it's going to be the same around the world. I mean, because it's not summer everywhere. Like it's summer here, but the bottom half of the globe, or what is it? Not globe. Globe is the thing you look at. Planet. Duh. Jeez Louise. The bottom half of the planet, aren't they in winter right now? So you wouldn't think that it would have that unless the rest of the world is affected by our stock market, which could be too also, right? But guess what? I'll be paying attention. This will be the first year I'll be paying attention, especially since the ISX has now been hooked up to what, 4 different Middle Eastern, or they don't call themselves Middle East, Arabic and Gulf country stock markets, right? Egypt, Jordan, and 2 others. So that could be the case too. So we'll see. Anyway, so he gives some numbers, 7%, 53 billion dinars, all that, right? Trading is concentrated, in the hands of only 5 companies out of 104. And the decline in foreign investors increases the challenges, which calls for a comprehensive regulatory review to enhance transparency and attract new companies. So it also could be they're having problems with the rate not being done. Here we are almost to the end of this year. Oil's going down. It's projected to go down before it goes back up again. So investors could be looking at all this stuff and like, maybe we better pull out, But so then he says, he pointed out that this contraction reflects a loss of confidence in the market despite the strong financial results of many companies, while we were witnessing a significant growth in unregulated Forex platforms, which increases risks for investors. So I'm thinking if they're putting this in this article, Forex trading is more prevalent than they are leading us to believe, right? That's what I'm thinking. So, yeah. And we know the young people are like all into the crypto. Gosh, that just made me sound really old, right? The crypto. Really into crypto and Forex. And they're mostly young, right? So, we'll see. Like I said, I'll keep my eye on it. So, now look, his name is different here. See why I don't know how to say his name? Here it's Abidi. Whatever. He concluded by saying reforming the market requires aligning it with the global markets, introducing modern technologies such as AI, artificial intelligence, and encouraging the listing of strategic companies to enhance the market's attractiveness and build the confidence of local and foreign investors. So yeah, because I don't understand totally how, but the ISX is supposed to hook up to the NASDAQ, right? So we're waiting for that. Or they could already be connected and it's just not switched on, right? Alrighty, and if you are new and you think I'm crazy, you can look up. It was possibly 2018, but it was World Women's Day. And NASDAQ posted on their, the big screen on New York, congratulations, Iraq. And it had something to do with Women's Day. But we were all like, yes, they're getting ready to do it. Here we are, 2025. Still waiting. That's all right, though. I'm not upset about it. Okay, here's another positive article. Minister of Finance continuing partnership with the World Bank to support the government's financial reform priorities. Now, remember, we used to get so excited when we read about the World Bank saying they were backing the anything, right? Anything was good. Now it's like, ho-hum. But, yep, so they're still supporting the government's priorities and reform and improving financial management. And I thought I had that bolded. So if you want to read that, you can. Now, this was the really big news today, and we'll probably spend most of the time on this. So they signed another. There's lots of articles about this. They're chopped up, little, long, a greater focus. So these are all the people here, and they call this a ceremony. But some of the news sites only put this image. This is the Minister of Communications. I think that's her title. But yeah, so Al Sudani 5G service represents a qualitative step. Sorry about that. I'm moving this thing all around. A qualitative step to enhance the telecommunications sector in Iraq. But hold on, don't do what I did. Because when I saw that, I was like, another article about telecommunications. But there's more. It goes into, look, the economy. They need the best telecommunication service that now covers all areas of life, especially the economy, education, and the development witnessed by the country. So then here they have, there's contribution from 3 entities: the State Employees Retirement Fund, the Trade Bank of Iraq, and Asalam Public Company affiliated with the Ministry of Communications. So this is a big deal. I mean, it doesn't seem like it is for us because we have 5G, right? We're getting ready to go to the low level satellite something, right? That's the next thing. Starlink, right? But we don't want to give him the monopoly. People don't want him to have the monopoly on it. So yeah, but yeah, so that was the big news. And then here, this is always good, but Japan has been granting money, okay, which means what? They don't have to pay it back for as long as I can remember, like hundreds of millions of dollars at a time. So now, I think this is like the second or third time I've seen them say, a memorandum of understanding with Iraq paves the way for economic integration between the two countries. And they had there were lots of interviews from the different people that were there. So this got a lot of news, the TV time, not just news like, online. All right, so this is the ambassador to Iraq, Akira Endo, affirmed on Sunday that the Memorandum of Understanding with Iraq will contribute to strengthening relations between the private sectors of both Japan and Iraq. Then they talk about who all was there, but he expressed his happiness to celebrate this valuable moment in the journey of Japanese-Iraqi friendship and the signing of the understanding, the Memorandum of Understanding between Gakin, I guess is how you say that, holding company and the Iraq Development Fund. And he says they've noticed an improvement in political, economic, and security situation. Iraq enjoys stability under the wise leadership of Sudani. Isn't that nice for him to say? Yeah, so you could read that if you like. There's lots there. And it says it comes this memorandum of understanding is a very important and timely event that will help contribute to strengthening relations between the private sectors in Japan and Iraq in terms of information exchange, support, promotion, and coordination of business. All right, so yeah, this should be short. There's some other stuff I was going to show you, but yeah, we'll see. Kurdistan announces that its negotiation delegation has submitted the necessary data regarding its employees' salaries to Baghdad. So Kurdistan has to send a list of all the people that are going to be paid. And then the finance minister in Baghdad, right? I don't know how, but she checks to make sure there's no double people. They verify it, but I was looking for a better word. Verify, collaborate, coordinate, corroborate. That's probably the word I want. Corroborate with what they have on their system and what Kurdistan sends. And if everything lines up, then they send the money. They send the salaries. Okay, so if you can hear that little fan, it's for some reason it's not even that hot, but the computer is like really hot, so I have this little fan on it. All right, the prime minister met. So then this is that's Sun Barzani, and this is the delegation that has headed over to Baghdad to talk about the salaries, or maybe the oil. I don't know. Maybe both. Probably both. Yeah, so because remember those meetings one is supposed to happen on Tuesday, September 2nd, and then another one later in the week. So I guess he told them, "You're going over there, get me what I want." At the meeting, the delegation presented the latest results of their discussions on technical and legal issues with the federal government, which is Baghdad, and indicated that they have provided complete data and information and provided necessary explanations on all issues and issues. So, see, I told you, it's boring stuff, but it needs to be done. It's forward movement, right? It even says right here, accelerating. We stress the importance of continuing the negotiations and accelerating the negotiation process towards reaching an agreement and providing consultation, constitutional and legal rights, salaries, and financial entitlements of the Kurdistan region. All right, here's my one commercial. If you'd like to support my FX buddies, here's the best ways to do it. When this is a live blog, this Buy Me a Coffee link is live. Cash App is always live. And PayPal also. All right, big or small, I appreciate it all. And thank you in advance for your generosity. All right, so I'm pretty sure they got paid. Because, see, I'm not a good read between the liner person. I don't pick up hints. I need to be told straight out. And you might even need to tap me on my shoulder and say, "Hey, do you understand what I'm saying to you?" But so in the morning, it said the salary has not come. And he was even, the little news guy was even at this one ATM place that they show. Not the solar one, not the one with the solar panels on top, a different one. And they were there waiting, and it said they're there waiting for their salaries, but no salaries have arrived yet. And they said they'll be distributed at 6 p.m., right? So that was yesterday now, obviously, right? So then it says more than 465,000 employees received their salaries through my account. So I think they did send it. It says it was deposited right here. It says it was deposited in the account of the Kurdistan region. This is just June, right? Or the 6th month is what they call it. And the employees will be able to withdraw their money from the ATMs at 6 p.m. today. So I'm hoping they did. I'm hoping they did. Ooh, that's big. All right. And so I thought this was interesting. Some of the cards went out, the ATM cards, debit cards, whatever they call them, a year ago, and they still have not been activated. And I bet you some of them have been thrown away. They probably were like, what the heck is this? Right? Or they have it sitting in the house. They probably opened it, looked at it, put it back in the envelope, and maybe they're saving it. But yeah, so they said, okay, um, we have a remedy. We will fix the problem completely in the next few weeks, and the cards will be valid, or they're probably going to have to end up just issuing a new card. Let's see. Was that the last? We're almost done. Look at that. So this was interesting. Oliver Wyman and the Guillotine of Laws. Oh, that's some deep wording, isn't it? Iraq witness, well, we'll skip that. He went all the way back to 2003. Okay. Requiring a comprehensive restructuring of its legislative and economic systems in line with the principles of a market economy and a modern state. Now he comes up to 2006. And he's saying there were laws in place for review because back then in 2006 they were I'm not going to be able to say that word, called the Guillotine of Laws. With foreign support and guidance, it included seasoned experts in legal reform, blah, blah, blah. But with all of that, they still had all that corruption and stealing and everything, right? So now he says, as I watch and follow within my interest and specialization in economic and banking affairs, what the international company Oliver Wyman is doing today to correct the declining performance of banks and laws came to my mind just to compare the mission of the previous Laws Guillotine Committee and the Oliver Wyman Company, not to compare, but to discover the connection between the different missions in 2 different times. Yeah, because that's 20 years, right? Well, if you go to 2003, but 2006, I don't know, do the math. You guys are smarter than me. All right. So, yeah, I just think it's interesting that laws are supposed to be helpful, right? We're supposed to want laws, but here they're calling them guillotine. Just like yesterday, was it? Yeah, yesterday, what was the word that was there? Regulation, right? And I said, a lot of people, if you ask them, they'll say regulation is good, but just like Iraq, Forex is relatively new in Iraq and it's unregulated. And they said it like it's a bad thing, right? But anyway, yeah, so this guy, he is, I don't have that website up. For some reason, the pictures just weren't coming through. I don't know what they're doing to make it so hard now. But he writes quite a bit, and actually, he's a PhD, one of those PhD economists. Normally, he uses bigger words, a heavier vocabulary. So I'm thinking this is citizen education as well as his thoughts. So you can read that if you're like me and interested in things like that. So here, now I find this interesting as well. Prime Minister met with 17 companies from Turkey. The government is keen to support laws that provide the best environment for attracting investment. And I just was wondering, because remember, Erdogan canceled the previous, contract that had been in place since 1973, I think it is. So he said a lot of good things, all the positive. We're an attractive investment environment now. But looky here, they talked about water. So I'm wondering if these businesses are part of the new, establishing relationships with these businesses are part of the new contract that Erdogan wants. So we'll see. It just seems like it came out of nowhere. Yeah, I don't recall them ever having so many meetings with Turkey, especially because if you remember, Turkey used to drop kablooies on northern Kurdistan because there was a group there they didn't like. And that was one of the first things they had to settle. And then once they settled that, they moved on to the oil pipeline. And now we're here where we are. So he emphasized that the gateway, Sudani, right? Still Sudani, emphasized the gateway to the economy, investment, and business is one of the most important pillars of partnership, developing relations, and strengthening commercial and economic ties. So this was a very serious meeting, saying we're an attractive investment, we have remarkable stability, and we seek the presence of your Turkish companies to implement their projects to the tune of $20 billion. Yeah, so they're ready. They're ready to do so many things, just like we are, right? Okay, so here's some more. This is the second deputy House Speaker. He is a Kurd. I'm very certain he's a Kurd. And he again confirmed that PMF law will not be passed, and he said because it's harmful to all Iraqis. He's not even taking our side, right? It's not like he's trying to say, well, Washington doesn't want it. He's like, no, it's harmful to all Iraqis. Like, why can't you see that, right? And he also brought up Kirkuk, which is Kirkuk is where Article 140 is. They're not part of Baghdad. They're not part of Kurdistan. Yeah, so he had a lot to say. That's one article. He talked about the negotiating delegation going to Baghdad, which he's in Baghdad, right? Because he's in the government. But he's still, anyway, all right. Yeah, so this is quite lengthy, but this is for you, my Kurdish people. I said I would try to put more of the news from Kurdistan. It's just so hard to get it. Oh my gosh. I don't know. Oh, okay. Anyway, so here again is another. This came out earlier in the day, and he was upset that they hadn't sent the money yet. I think. Oh yeah, this is the last article. Okay, this is good too. Um, it's Mohammed Saleh, and he's talking about the rise in gold prices in Iraq and the world, and it reflects international economic transformations, which you gotta wonder why are the central banks buying so much gold? And is it because the dollar is weak? I don't know, but he does mention that, right? He mentions that. So this again, to me, in my opinion, this is citizen education. Yeah. See, he says right there, most notably the weak dollar. So, I don't know. So, that really is an interesting article. Okay, I got a little excited because I'm going to have to, the title of this, which is in Kurdish language is something like, are Kurdistan oil contracts and crude oil prices hindering the passage of the budget? But you can see it's a video, but it's on YouTube. So where did it go? So what I'm going to do, and it's only a minute. I'm sure it's much longer, but see, it's only a minute and 53. And she's talking to Mustafa Hantush. Yeah. So I'm going to translate that, and we'll talk about that tomorrow to see what he has to say. And look, see, she has her hair pulled back, but it's not covered. And she's wearing a little bit of makeup. So Kurdistan's a little bit more, uh, I can't think of the word. Liberal? No, I don't know if I want to say that. But anyway, all right, so we're going to end this here. Yeah, like I said, it's boring, but it's all good. It's still, there's really nothing bad. And I did want to show you. Remember I said Monday was going to turn out to be a holiday. And here we go. A suspension of official work tomorrow, Monday, on the anniversary of the martyrdom of, peace be upon him, right? So I just remember, that happens every Monday. The they Even though they don't celebrate Labor Day, there's a holiday for them as well. So that's why it seems kind of slow, because we're having a holiday, they're having a holiday. So yeah, so enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself, right? That was the Silvers, right? But anyway, and I'm sure I'll do a video tomorrow because I'm thinking there'll be something to report on. But if I don't, you know why? There was nothing worth reporting on. All right. So thank you for listening. Thank you for the continued support of the thumbs up, hitting the like. It's very important. And if you'd like to subscribe, you can subscribe. And always at 11 minutes and 11 seconds, a little icon comes up. And all you have to do is tap that and you can easily subscribe. And if you missed the last episode, don't leave, because the opportunity to click on a little picture of it is going to pop up, and then you can watch that one too. Accumulate while we wait for the rate to appreciate. Don't miss any meals and pay all your bills. Hang in there. Don't give up. Enjoy the rest of your morning, night, noon, whatever time frame you are indulging in this content. And until next time.